when I had the two-picture deal from United Artists on the strength of doing the film Diamonds Are Forever, I decided that I would like to have a company that would have not just combined talents for making the two pictures, but the possibility to develop into something that would realize their own sort of potential.
Yeah, it's all the original, but I thought it's not bad, is it?
It's going to be put out black and white, Dennis?
You know, it's very easy to reproduce something like that in black and white, and as a sign, symbol for the paper and the production, post-production stuff.
Yeah. All I want, us to agree is that the image is right and the layout's right, and then we'll present it as the sort of thing we want to use on the picture.
Mm-hmm. Has Charlie seen this?
No, tomorrow. He's away, unfortunately, this week. Well, this week.
He comes back this afternoon.
Yeah, so I thought I'd run it into him tomorrow after Stanley and Richard had a
Dennis,
look.
I'd like to see the name Tantalon somewhere.
Well, this is again, you see, there are things missing off it. I quite like that. I think it will be Tantalon Presents
I think so.
a United Artists release or whatever they want for their situation. I think Tantalon should be on it too.
Charlie Berman is Assistant Managing Director of United Artists, and he's also Manager of Publicity.
It is actually the third title change. The first one was This Story of Yours, which was based on the play. Then it was a change to something like The Truth, and now we're going with The Offence. It's much more impactful.
Tantalon, this film company I set up by getting a team of filmmakers, for example, like Dennis O'Dell, producer, Stanley Sopel, who was with Leon, who's an associate producer and very, very good financial man, has international experience, and Richard Hatton, who was my agent, and with his experience, they will eventually all co-produce. Well, it's a story, but once upon a time there was a Scotsman, an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Jew. I must get this right. The Scotsman, which is myself, there's the Englishman, which is Richard Hatton, the Irishman, which is Dennis O'Dell, and Stanley Sopel, who's Jewish. I enjoy working if it's a reciprocal arrangement between the crew, the workmen, the whole, the harmony makes for the, it comes on, I think it comes into the picture itself, and Stanley will vouch for that. I think that when we're doing the Bond films, that we had the same crew in many instances. For most of the pictures, the directors we changed 3 times, and 5 I did, or 5, whatever it was, and 6.
How clever you are, Mr. Bond.
Nice to see you haven't lost that fine mental edge, 007. Please don't get any foolish notions. That missile is not a practical weapon.
Well, it's hardly worth the effort. After all, I wouldn't know which one of you to kill.
We appreciate your predicament, Mr. Bond. We deeply sympathize. Right idea, Mr. Bond.
But wrong pussy.
The last picture that Sean Connery did was Diamonds Are Forever. We shot that picture in 16 weeks. It cost us $7 million, which is a lot of money, but not as expensive as some as the Bonds, but the return has been enormous. It was a good picture, and the proof of the pudding is there, that if you work quickly with the right sort of people, you do save money, and you lose no quality at all.
Well, the picture, as Sean had said, was done under the terms of his agreement, on the last Bond that he did. And they gave us a top limit of $1 million to make the picture. Well, of course, we ran into some problems on, they had some revaluation of the dollar at that time, which hurt us considerably. But as it happened, it didn't matter, because even with the star arrangement that we have and the sort of the great actors that we have in the movie, the picture still came in for $900,000, which these days is pittance time. It really is.
With a tremendous effort by the whole, company and this studio, Twickenham here, and all the talents that we got around us too, we came in on 28 shooting days. I mean, it's easy, you can do it in 23 shooting days, but what's really important is the result. And in this case, I think it's the picture that was conceived by the company and the artists. And that goes from myself right along the line, Trevor and Ian and Vivian Merchant and all the other actors, and the writer, who was every day on the set. We had a 2-week rehearsal period. We had a week's rehearsal when we worked together before on the Hill, Sidney and I, and that was just enough because it was more of an ensemble piece. This was many flashes forward, backwards, and a lot of sort of technicalities to iron out and had to get for continuous flow to know where we cut to and from. And with a very intense first week with Trevor Howard, me, for the first 2 hours, Vivian Merchant, me, for the second 2 hours, and Ian Bannon, me, for the third 2 hours. And by the third 2 hours, I was like, cockeyed. And we had the cameraman in, Jerry Fisher was in for rehearsals as well, and the set designer was on the stage here at Twickenham, and consequently, all the pros got to work.
Well, Sidney Lumet started in the business as a child actor. Then, of course, he did a lot of theatrical productions, and then he went to television, where I think he picked up this hard approach to film directing, which you've seen examples of in 12 Angry Men, The Hill, and such great pictures. He's done Anderson tapes, you know, and things like that.
Television and theater, yeah, both. But primarily from the television thing of blocking it, laying out your camera, making your dramatic selection in advance. I think the longest I've ever shot a picture was 48 days, and I was bored sick. It was brutal being on it that long. Normally, 30 to 40 days is a good working tempo for me.
I fought Sidney 3 times as a director for The Hill because I didn't think an American could handle the Englishness, the Irishness, the Scottishness, the Welshness of that army, you know, and he proved me absolutely wrong.
About time. Oh, Para 528, Section 7. An officer will not reprove a warrant officer or an NCO in the presence or hearing of a private soldier.
You know the KRRs, don't you?
Yes, sir.
You're breaking every rule in the book.
And you live by, don't you?
We're both regulars. We are the army. What the hell else are we supposed to do?
I live by the book. Para this and para under Section XYZ that. But Queen Victoria's dead. It's out of date.
I remember I always used to get accused of photographing stage plays. Well, that's not so. There is more sheer film technique in a picture like Long Day's Journey into Night or 12 Angry Men. There's more sheer movie technique in that than there is in 20 Westerns. That's easy. 5,000 horses is easy. A mountain is easy. To be able to use a confined area as one of the instruments in telling the story, and to use it, make it have a dramatic contribution, that really takes work.
With this subject, we didn't have any hesitation, any of us, and directors, with a view about Sidney, because of the experience in The Hill. Also, a very important fact, you could not start running over on this picture because it was done at such a pace and tempo that is the way that Sidney works and the way I like to work, where a certain tempo is pitched at and you keep it, and that's like your kind of motor pace. And if it starts to dissipate and run away, it would be a disaster.
Kids out of school, business. Place is empty. Jester drives up in the car.
Whoa. Wasted time keeping them here. Those lads wouldn't know Christmas from Pancake Bloody Tuesday.
Maybe it frightens him knowing we're here, watching.
Oh, yeah, he's frightened. Bloody paralytic. Got into the car. How many kids has he had?
Whoa.
Wasted time keeping them out here. Those lads wouldn't know Christmas from Pancake Bloody Tuesday.
Well, maybe it frightens him, knowing we're here, knowing we're watching.
Oh, we've got him so frightened. Bloody paralytic. How many kids has he had? 3 of them. Now, bloody smell. We've got a bugger so bloody frightened, he'll probably make it 4 before the week's out.
Teddy was a better one than you. You were a great cigarette machine. I had a chat with Kenny James, did I tell you?
Waste of time talking to Kenny. It's not his line of country. Flash it a bit, maybe. Having them off, never in a million bloody years.
Well, it doesn't hurt talking to him.
You must be bloody desperate talking to him.
I had the feeling if you heard anything.
He wouldn't tell the coppers the time of day if he had a dozen watches.
Drinks on us, Mr. Johnson.
We'll pay. It's my shot, right?
Sergeant.
Next slide, what is it?
Johnny, my love, I'm sorry, hair early. It's a wild... you'll take that... It's my turn, right, but your distance on location is much... Right, take it. About here, after you give you the number. So take the same engine fuel and that ought to time out. On the house, Mr. Johnson.
We'll pay. We'll pay. We'll pay. It's my turn, right? It's a long time since I've seen Kenny.
He's been away.
Sergeant. Not bloody long enough. Next slide, what is it?
There's another kitty missing.
So bloody frightened.
Okay, Peter, my love, out on the common. Oh, let's read it. All right, my love. It comes right after I hope he takes note.
I hope he takes note, yeah.
You want to charge him?
No, I'd rather, wait.
We can't wait, can we? Have to charge him now or let him go. Do we want to let him go?
No.
Well, make up your bloody mind.
When you've talked to him...
I'll talk to him when I'm good and ready.
I'm pretty sure...
Yeah?
I don't want to take a chance.
Well, who knows we brought him in? Who've you talked to?
No one.
As long as no one knows, as long as we can hold him. Has he talked to his solicitor?
No.
He knows he can.
He's been cautioned.
We'll leave him to think another half hour. Oh, Johnny, that's marvelous. Perfect.
Is that all right?
Yep, yep. Okay. Cancel the order for, Tell Harold we won't need him.
I guess John Hopkins, who wrote it, have worked closer on this than most writers and directors, just in terms of meaning, in terms of intent. And the lovely thing that's happened is that the whole thing is a surprise to both of us.
If he doesn't cough, because she got very straight-laced and very if he doesn't cough and he's got any sort of solicitor, we'll have to let him go. Can't leave him sitting there. Well, I wrote it first as a play. It was done at the Royal Court. It was my first stage play, and specifically set out to get away from what I'd done on Z-Cars, which was about the police. It's easy to confuse the two because one is about the police and the other was, the Z-Cars was about the police. They're not, of course, at all similar. One is a much broader statement, tries to be a broader statement than Z-Cars, which was specific adventure. This is not adventure. And then Sean and Dennis O'Dell wanted to do it as a film. It's taken them, and it's remarkable, the amount of stamina. The thing that is in shortest supply is stamina in people wanting to set up something. If they don't set it up immediately, that tragic thing happens that they lose interest or they lose momentum. No, it's not interest, it's momentum, and move on to something else. Sean and Dennis have remained locked onto this for 2 years, and here it is happening. Who's in this film of yours? And I said, well, Sean Connery, Trevor Howard, Ian Bannon.
Who's this?
Emergent, Jack Gold. He said, who's directing it? Sidney Lumet. I said, oh, well, we've all got our crosses, haven't we?
Charming.
I'm very jealous, friend. Very jealous.
I hope that's
very, very jealous.
No sugar, is it? That's great. Thank you. Very good.
It's all right. Flattery will get him nowhere.
He's rather good.
I love some coffee.
It's very good.
White be lovely, then.
He was absolutely knocked out.
You're actually shooting? Oh.
That's the quietest bloody thing.
See how we live, eh?
If we get this here indoors with a restaurant right here, can you imagine what it's going to be on location?
He loves the catering on that.
Fish and chips.
It costs so much.
We should be so lucky.
Thomas Cook. First thing start. Thomas Cook.
Sean, who's the guy in Spain? A terrific Eduardo.
Eduardo, yeah. But he's the greatest. I mean, the greatest of all ever known.
It's worth shooting a picture there for him.
Shirley did a film in Japan with Richard Widmark and Yul Brynner, Harold Heck, and he fed them all with, 5 million Japanese extras, little box lunches. And they were all sitting there, eating their box lunches, and over the horizon came a Rolls Royce. Big car, parked, out the chauffeur got, put on a white coat, chef's hat, cooked Brynner, the full meal, steak, potatoes, sour cream, the whole thing. He's all point to point. All there. He sat there by himself at a table. Everybody, as Shirley said, we were eating our box lunches, looking at the star, sitting there.
Last one who pulled out was Marie Antoinette.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's why the film industry is such a mess.
Absolutely.
Now you take off. Go ahead.
Come in.
Bang, 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 that's out. Throw.
Is it necessary to move the chair?
Yeah. Yeah, because I need a chair over for the following element. Bang.
Chair. That's gone.
That goes.
Come in to where?
And go right out, right out of the shot, as close to
Closest
the ladies as possible.
I was doing a film in America, and John gave me the stage place with a view to doing it at the Royal Court. Unfortunately, it wasn't a success at the court, sort of so-so. And then a couple of years ago, he did his screenplay, and I tried to set the film up, and I couldn't get the money at all. The subject matter is a bit dicey because they're frightened that they wouldn't have a television sale, So I then went to many places. There was no way I could do it, so we had to kind of shelve it, and I had already sets and design and quite a bit into it. So the first chance I got was the two-picture deal with UA, with the After Diamonds. I made the first picture, this one.
Once again, number one. Give me. Let's take a print on that, Angela, dear.
Certainly with this subject, was flash forwards and flashes back, and it's really has repetitious aspects that have to be filmed in different techniques and interspersed in it like a mosaic. And without having a complete overall run at the whole thing, see it all, he wouldn't know how to put it together.
No promises with you, lovely bloody promises. I'll make you happy, you said. You bloody didn't. I'm here to tell you, Miss Bride of 1956, you didn't make me happy. You never have, never once. If only you'd enjoyed it. Looked up at me, wanted me. Him. Him? Is it him you want, some sort of bloody pervert? Would he make you happy? Would you say, yes, yes, please to him?
Very, very difficult, much harder than anybody ever understands as an actor. Well, you get through that stage, like Trevor and I stumbling through it, Vivian and I this morning, and Barry and I have got a 30-page scene sequence to do. Well, if you came in cold that morning, you suddenly say, oh my God, that's funny, his left ear's higher than his right ear. Everything you notice, which you got to get out the way, and get to what the piece is about.
I want to speak to your superior officer. You hear what I say?
The chief inspector's at the hospital.
I'll speak to the inspector.
Stay where you are.
Now, don't come near me.
I think you're getting away with it, Baxter.
Now, no, please, don't hit me.
You think you're so bloody clever.
Really good acting, or probably good work in general, is really self-revelation in a way. That's why we've had a little difficulties today, because we're in very meaty stuff, heavy stuff, stuff that's not easy to let out. And first of all, out of the intricacy of a character, because to me nobody is simple, And certainly in this script, the complexity is enormous. So finding that complexity, finding the layers of onion to unpeel, the rehearsal time is priceless for that. When is it defensive? When are you hiding? When are you revealing the truth? All of those things, all of those variables, they're critical. And the interesting thing I find is that rather than it destroying spontaneity, when you get to shooting, it helps it, because the actors are so secure in terms of where they are in terms of the character.
You don't know for certain he did it.
He did it.
You don't know.
I know.
I'm not going to argue with you.
No.
You can't know.
I talked to him.
You were there. You saw Baxter with
There was
the girl.
blood on his clothes.
Even so, unless you saw him.
His hands
actually
were covered in
saw
blood.
him, watched him assault the girl. Criminally assault.
Yes, all right.
You can't know in the sense we use the word.
I'll let you drop,
Get a-
lad.
get a hold of yourself, lad.
lad. I'll let you go. Fall flat on your back. Be a bit of a change that. You flat on your back, eh?
Hold. And door open. Kick out.
The actual interrogation between Sean and Ian Bannon really takes place in his head as a memory with which he has to live for the rest of his life. And what it's been possible to do in the film is to have that effect, plus a direct narrative, in that we tell the story from the moment that the little girl is picked up outside the school through to the moment when Johnson recognizes why he did what he did.
Let go of me.
You and me.
You. I know you. And I'll have you.
How can you?
Yes, I know. Something. You have to do something.
You filthy little pug.
Takes one to know one.
What are you going to do with that?
I don't know, it seems like a good idea, hanging on to it.
All right.
Don't want to make it easy. Wouldn't like that, would you?
One way or the other.
Oh, the other, anytime.
Bloody man.
I love you, too. Young lad can get hurt playing silly games like that. What will you do then? It means a lot to you. Talk about nothing else.
Fast, pull back. Back, over the desk. Right, we want...
Oh, like Confucius says.
No more bloody jokes.
Lie back and enjoy it.
Listen to me.
And that's the cut.
Okay.
Say so. Wrong set.
Okay, boys. Same over there, boys.
Same.
Tom, take up.
No, my sweet. It's tight here. Sean picks him up.
There's not going to be any jazzing it about in the cutting room.
Young lad can get hurt playing silly games like that. Oh, what would you do then, eh? It means a lot to you. You talk about nothing else.
Ah, like Confucius says.
No more bloody jokes.
Lie back and enjoy it.
Listen to me.
You don't even know.
One last time.
What a mess you must be.
Where were you this afternoon?
The pictures! I went to the bloody pictures! For God's sake, make up your mind like a bloody yo-yo up and down.
Tell me, Baxter.
Nothing I have done can be one half as bad as the thoughts in your head. I wouldn't have your thoughts.
The result of that is that the first picture has worked at the first stage. The next stage is to be proven right at the critical and financial return level.
I think the film industry has contracted to a great degree now. It's terribly unfortunate that the 60% unemployment over the 3 years, but I think out of all bad things comes good things. I think possibly the film industry has got rid of a lot of what one might almost call charlatans, and I think we now have a lot of real pro people. There is a market for this type of picture shot in 28 days, costing what it costs. I think this is the way it has to be in the future. I think the bad old days of people just spending money because it was there was bad for the film industry, caused the trouble, caused the unemployment.
I think that one of the advantages of a setup, such as Sean's been talking about, is the sort of sense of creative team spirit that can be creative, that can be made to get the project together. You can get first-rate talents involved at sort of very moderate sums because they all want to do something well, and I think they feel that nobody's going to actually exploit them.
Because every dollar has been spent on the film, so nobody's been shortchanged, and the whole, including the public, and it's there, you know, for people to see.
Obviously, like Richard was saying, and Dennis there, about I've no doubt that you'll get anybody, any actor, if they really feel that they're getting a fair crack at the whip and a fair share of what's going, they won't hesitate to come along.
I think that everybody has been properly and fairly rewarded, and the comparison between fees involved is very healthy. I think everybody was very happy about it. And, you know, I mean, the thing that has been achieved on it, which is very uncommon in a film, is that everything about it is first choice. Usually in a picture, you come down to second or third or fourth choice. But we had a very good screenplay. We got the director everybody wanted, the first choice. We got the actors for every part that everybody wanted. Nobody dropped out. They got the composer they wanted. It's very unusual to go right through to the end, and it's exactly what they all wanted. And I think that that proves that the setup of the organization is right.
And if there's any money coming, they'll get some of it too. The first project was a difficult subject anyway because of the problems we had getting it off the ground initially. Now everybody thinks it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Any good day's work, and I see the man. We have to go out this way. The fucking dressing rooms are over there. We've got to go this way.